Welcome, everyone. Let's dive right into this explainer, where we're going to decode a really fascinating piece of source material. It maps the highly volatile, completely destructive psychology of trading directly onto the concept of a deep, passionate, and incredibly toxic romance. Usually when we talk about financial markets, we're throwing around words like algorithms, technical analysis, data, right? But let's be real. Anyone who has ever traded actual money knows the absolute hardest battle isn't with the market at all. It's with yourself. Our source material today takes a wildly creative approach. It frames the relationship between a trader and the market as this ruinous, addictive love affair, what the original text actually calls ishq. We're going to break down exactly how this intense emotional framing perfectly explains why so many traders lose everything, yet just keep coming back for more.
So, listen to this core refrain. It equates the irresistible lure of the market to a profound, ruinous love that essentially commands you to risk absolutely everything. The source lyrics say, let's get ruined once again, let's fall in love once again, let's put everything at stake. Now think about the sheer irrationality of that from a financial perspective. In a logical world, if something consistently ruins you, you walk away. Obviously. But in high-stakes trading, the emotional hook runs so incredibly deep that logic just gets completely thrown out the window. The market calls to the trader, and despite all the historical pain, they willingly walk right back into the fire, ready to risk the whole shebang.
And the absolutely crucial point here is that this isn't just flowery poetry. It's a direct psychological mirror. That romantic urge to risk it all. It translates directly into the trader's fatal flaw of over-leveraging their capital until they are entirely wiped out. You have the romanticized ideal of surrendering everything for love, but contrast that with the harsh, ugly trading reality, betting your entire margin, completely ignoring position sizing, and ultimately blowing up your account. When a trader puts everything at stake, they aren't being some brave romantic hero. They are literally letting their emotions hijack their risk management. It's that exact moment the logical brain unplugs and the emotional, dopamine-starved brain takes the wheel, whispering that this time, this massive bet is going to pay off. Okay, let's move into the first major thematic phase identified in the text. Phase 1, the agonizing failure of a trader's internal discipline.
Any seasoned trader will tell you your most important tool isn't a chart pattern, it's your own discipline. You set your rules in the cold, clear light of day. But the source material brilliantly illustrates the internal battle that happens the second the market opens. The trader swears they'll guard their dreams and stop lying to themselves, which maps flawlessly to abandoning strict risk management rules. The lyrics read, "Every time I promised myself, I won't break my heart too much now. I will guard every dream. I won't lie to myself anymore." Look at how neatly this aligns. Not breaking the heart, that is the promise to respect your stop loss, to cut your losses before they hurt you. Guarding every dream is the vow to protect your core capital, because without capital, you literally can't trade tomorrow. And not lying to oneself is the ultimate promise to avoid denial. Admitting a trade is wrong instead of stubbornly holding on and spiraling into revenge trading. We make these promises with absolute sincerity, and yet they are incredibly fragile.
Because look how easily those promises break when the market offers just one smile. A sudden green candle, a little tempting price action, and it drains whatever tiny bit of courage and discipline you had left. The source text literally says, "But one smile of yours scattered everything again. Whatever little courage was left, I spent it on you." Just picture it. You've taken a loss. You promised you're done for the day. You close your laptop. But you just take one tiny little peek at your phone. And there it is. The market suddenly spikes in the direction you originally thought it would. That's the market's smile. And it induces massive, overwhelming FOMO. All those ironclad rules you made an hour ago, completely scattered. You jump back in, entirely on emotion. Which brings us right into phase 2, the psychological trap that keeps the trader permanently hooked. Intermittent reinforcement and the illusion of control.
You know, if trading was just a constant, unending string of losses, people would realize they're touching a hot stove and they'd quit. But if we chart the lyrics chronologically across a trading day, we see rapid emotional whiplash. The lyrics tell us, sometimes there is a reign of victory, then it feels like you are mine. Sometime in a single moment, it is understood how deceitful this love is. Map this to a trading day. In the morning, maybe you catch a great move, a reign of victory. Dopamine hits, euphoria sets in. By midday, you're experiencing the total illusion of control. You genuinely believe you've tamed the market, but the market owes you nothing. By the afternoon, a sudden reversal wipes out your gains and your capital, leaving you devastated, realizing you were completely fooled by your own ego. And that drops us into the darkest psychological phase described in the source. Phase 3, where the losses actually become an inescapable comfort zone.
This is such a profound concept in trading psychology.
At a certain point, a trader isn't just addicted to winning anymore. They become perversely accustomed to losing. The stress, the anxiety, the blowout, it becomes normalized. I want you to really focus on the deep empathy in these lines. The trader hears the logical advice from outsiders to quit, but realizes with absolute horror that their heart has actually become habituated to the agony. Your friends, your family, your own logical brain, they all say, leave it. This path is ruthless. Just stop, right? But the trader's response is tragic. What to do with this heart? It is used to this pain. When your nervous system gets that used to the high cortisol environment of volatile trading, peace and quiet actually feel boring. You stay in the toxic relationships simply because the pain is familiar.
This perfectly defines the behavioral science concept outlined in the text, intermittent reinforcement. There is no promise, no guarantee, yet the occasional unpredictable win forces you to keep your hopes pinned to the market. The source text explicitly says, no promise, no guarantee, yet my hopes are pinned on you. Even after breaking, I couldn't leave you. That is the exact same psychology that makes a slot machine so addictive. You don't know when the reward is coming, only that it might come, so your brain stays perpetually engaged. The market offers absolutely zero guarantees, yet that one random, massive win blinds the trader to 100 small, consistent losses. You break your rules, you lose money, but you just can't walk away.
Finally, we reach phase 4, the endless cycle of hope and the cyclical reset that happens every single day.
Because despite the devastation, the broken promises, and the pain, the human capacity for hope, or honestly, delusion, is incredibly resilient. The lyrics paint this stark contrast between the terrifying, regret-filled nights where the trader fights their own fear and the completely irrational magnetic pull that forces them to wake up and weave new dreams all over again. The source reveals, the nights are witness, fear also knows how much I fight myself every day, yet every morning I weave new dreams in your name. Think about that nightly battle. The markets close, the adrenaline wears off, the reality of the losses sets in. It's just you and your regret, fighting yourself in the dark, swearing you will never trade like that again. But then, the morning reset, the sun comes up, the opening bell's about to ring, and amnesia sets in. You convince yourself today will be different, and the cycle starts completely fresh. Let's fall in your love once again.
The source leaves us wondering if this inability to walk away is true love. So we have to ask ourselves, are you trading out of genuine strategy and passion, or are you just seeking the comfort of a familiar destructive loop? The lyrics ponder, perhaps that is true love, but our analysis today really challenges that notion. Using the market as an emotional outlet is literally the fastest way to ruin. If you recognize yourself in this explainer, if you're making promises you can't keep, chasing the market's smile, and waking up every day to repeat a painful cycle, it might be time to take a massive step back. Are you executing a disciplined, emotionless strategy to build wealth? Or are you just locked in a toxic romance with the charts, mistaking the comfort of a familiar pain for true passion? Think deeply about that the next time you sit down at your terminal. Thanks for joining this explainer. Keep learning, keep analyzing, and most importantly, guard your capital and your mind.